Hi. With this coronavirus pandemic, are you feeling fear and worry? Are you asking yourself, do we have to stop living due to fear of dying? Or are you so oblivious and not taking steps to protect yourself and your loved ones? What can you do? If you don't know me, my name is Dr. Rozina-Happy, and I am an MD psychiatrist and best-selling author and speaker. And today we are going to talk about 3 tips to replace this fear with hope and not stop living due to this fear of dying or getting infected. Once you do that, you'll be able to overcome this darkness because of fear and replace it with the light of hope so that you can take care of yourself, your family, your community, and get through this crisis together without damaging what doesn't have to be. So, what are you afraid of or worried about coronavirus? Everybody is scared. Well, you're scared. You may be scared of getting infection or dying from it, or fear of infecting a family member and effect on economy. So many people are losing their jobs and the whole businesses are getting wiped out, so it is affecting the economy. It has affected the economy of the world, and especially your own country. And there are so many lockdowns going around, so there's social isolation. People are not able to meet or get together. People are afraid of running out of supplies. The funny things that are happening is like now stores are out of the toilet papers. And this infection doesn't cause diarrhea. So I'm not sure why that is the reason that people are behind the toilet papers. But everybody is reacting to fear. Is this fear justified? Of course, this pandemic is here. It is affecting our life. As I said, people are dying, and we don't know how long it's going to last. So everybody is afraid. And then people are having the fear reaction. Now, is this reaction justified? Yesterday, one of my patients told me that when they were going to the grocery store, they saw an elderly woman fell down in the parking lot while going to her car. And people were scared to help her. They were afraid of either infecting her or getting infected. That is not living. One of my patients told me that she was so strict with her family members not to visit her, that family members are upset with her. And do you really have to break the relationship while keeping the social distance? And as I said earlier, people are hoarding bathroom rolls. I don't know what they're going to do with that. One of my patients, when he said that, he was accruing debt on his credit card to get the extra supply of bathroom rolls. And I asked him why, and he said, um, "What if we are out?" I was like, half of the world go without toilet paper and they use water. So if worse come to worse, you may have to do that. But that doesn't mean that you accrue credit in this difficult economics times. So people are reacting to fear. And what can we do? So today I'm going to share the 3 basic steps of stress to joy system that you may have heard me in our other programs. And then we are going to talk 3 specific thinking tools that can help you overcome this worry. So to remember the 3 basic steps of stress to joy, I have this simple acronym CPR. Like the CPR helps somebody physically. Similarly, this CPR can help you revive yourself mentally. So, C stands for calming down and seeing what is happening. P stands for processing your thoughts and shifting your thinking. And R represents taking some action, responding with wisdom and intention. So, first step, stop your reaction and notice. Are you reacting with hysteria? Are you reacting with severe fear? and notice your thoughts and your feelings and your action. Once you acknowledge what is going on and observe non-judgmentally, that it's okay to feel fear. It is normal. But how you respond to your fear is in your control. So become mindful. And so, would you like to have a map for mindfulness? I've talked about it in past, but if you would like, I can do another video on a map for mindfulness. If you would like, please comment and let me know. So that takes us to the second step of stress to joy, that is called processing. So process your thoughts. Now everybody is feeling that I can't do anything. Is it out of my control? Um, well, there are some things that are out of your control. It is not in your control to stop this virus from infecting people and spreading around. It has affected countries and population. Thousands of people are getting affected. So some of it is not in your control. But there are also things that are in your control that you can do something about. So, what are some of the things that are not in your control? It is not in your control the amount of toilet paper at the store. Yes. And it is also not in your control how long will this last, or how other people um, are going to behave in terms of, are they keeping their social distances? Are they doing things with some other motives? And it is not in your control to predict what will happen next. But there are other things that are in your control. It is in your control to turn off the television after watching news for an hour. It is in your control to control how much social media time you're spending. You can control your attitude. You can find fun things to do with your family. Um, you can decide how you follow CDC recommendation, and you can maintain your own social distancing. So those are the things that are in your control. And I want to kind of point out that sometimes it gets confused between what is social distancing versus social connection. So it is important to maintain that physical social distance, so that if somebody is coughing or they have been infected, their infected droplets don't go in your body. But that doesn't mean that you have to stop the social connections. You can still make the connection. Like one of my patients told me that she picks up the groceries for for her parents who are elderly, and then she goes and puts the groceries on the porch, then she steps away so her parents can pick up the grocery, and then she talks to them while keeping the social distance to protect them from infecting in case she is the carrier. So she is maintaining social distance without blocking the social connection. She's still keeping the social connection. Um, so you can also do that. Plus, you know, this perspective, our perspective is sometimes very much affected by how we are looking at. So if you see the earth while walking and trying to reach the end of the earth, it will keep going on and on. So our earth looks very big to us when we are looking from here, but from the moon or from the space, it may look very small. So it really depends on our perspective. And so if we are feeling confined in our home, if we change the perspective to see, okay, we have the whole home to walk around, or the whole neighborhood if we are able to, if you're not under lockdown. But so watch your perspective and see what you can control. Keeping routine is in your control. You can still wake up at the same time, get dressed up, do your work at home, or structure your day and put things like, both fun and work things that you can do. And keeping that routine would keep a sense of normalcy and keep your body healthy and happy until you come out of this crisis. And this crisis is going to be over. But right now we need to get through it without destroying what doesn't have to be destroyed. Find constructive activities. and limit news repeats, because news keeps on repeating over and over and over again. So one of my friend was saying that, I just can't stop. Like, I keep on watching this news over and over again, and that keeps on increasing my anxiety. Another patient told me, like, his anxiety was getting really bad. And then I said, like, no, the what is causing the anxiety? It says, I keep on watching the news, and I'm worried about, the effect on economy, and how it's going to affect the whole world. And my anxiety keeps getting worse, and I keep feeling panicky. He's doing fine right now, but just that news is kind of stirring up his anxiety, and that is in your control. Turn off the TV after half an hour, because after half an hour that news is going to get repeated. If you want to watch again, you can watch again half an hour later in the day. So 1 hour of news a day would give you more than enough that you need. So this is the tip number one that I would like to share, that is called my circle of power. I also call I can circle. So as you see, that if you focus on the things that are in your control, that is, so everything that in the world that you're concerned about is part of your circle of concern. Okay. And everything that you can do something about is in this smaller circle called circle of influence. This concept is taken from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So, this all the things that you can do, your words, your actions, that are in your inner circle. Stephen Covey calls it circle of influence, and I call it I can circle, or my circle of power, because this is where your power lies. The funny thing is that if you focus more inside your circle, this circle is going to increase. Okay. But if you focus more on outside your circle, things that you're concerned about, but you can't do anything about it, like how many people are buying the toilet papers, you can't do anything about it. The more you focus over there, the smaller your circle of influence gets, because all your energy is wasted in things that are not in your control. So, the tip number one is to focus on what you can do rather than what you can't do. Do you like this technique? If so, please let me know. And if you think that it may help somebody else, please share. And keep depositing. There's another concept I use, and you may have heard me in some other videos about deposits in your emotional coping account. And if you haven't heard and you'd like me to address that in next video, please let me know. So deposits are things that you can do that are within your hand that would help you get better emotionally. So like breathing exercises, although go out, but you can still do breathing exercises at home. You can do journaling. You can do art or reading. um, I was watching Trevor Noah's show yesterday, and he said, okay, you can use this book, but then you can use it to take a nap, because these books can also play like a pillow, but you can read it too." You can do art activity. You may not be able to meet in person with your friends, but you can still talk to them with audio, with video calls. You can listen to relaxing music. You can do walking within your sphere. If you're in lockdown, you can still walk around the house. you know um, if you walk from one corner to the other corner of the house, back and forth, and count your steps, you may be able to get a lot of walking just inside the home when you do intentional walking. So this brings me to the tip number 2: stay in the present. Because most of the time, what happens is either we are worried about our past, or we are worried about our future. Right now, I think a lot of people are what we call future reading. They're thinking everything going to be wiped out, and there's a chance it may happen. But do you really know your future? What if it is positive? What if we are in this pupa chrysalis stage of the butterfly? We are right now in the cocoon. We are in social isolation phase. But once we get through this successfully, maybe we will come out to be more transformed. more grateful society. We'll appreciate things that we took for granted. So we don't know, but our mind is worried. So that takes me to tip number 3, using a crossroad technique. See, you are at point A and you don't know what's going to happen at point B. You may get infected, uh, God forbid, you may die. Um, Somebody else that you love may be affected. There's human loss, there's economic crisis. A lot of negative things could happen, but you really don't know at this point in time what's going to happen. And there's a chance then the all the bad things that you're worried about may not happen, or there's a chance those things may happen. There's always 50-50 chance, right? But you are at point A. Point B, something may happen, and point C is the stage of consequence that we would see after this disaster passes. You are at point A and you have the choice of either thinking positive or thinking negative. Let's say if you think positive, that things are going to calm down and we are going to come out of it more transformed and more resilient. And there is a, so if we think positive and things go positive, we could be happy all along. And if we think positive and things do go negative, we would be mentally strong to deal with the problems, right? You have the other choice of thinking negative. Oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And if you think negative and things do go positive, then you would have suffered for no reason, right? And if you think negative and things do go become negative, so first you would suffer in your mind, because when you feel like everything is going to end and I'm going to die, in your mind you are already suffering. So you have already suffered, and God forbid the negative things do happen, then you would suffer again in actuality. So then you are actually suffering twice, once before something bad happens and once after something bad happens. Do you really want to suffer twice? So, what's your choice? Well, your mind key has the tendency to keep thinking negative. So the thought may come. You can train your brain to shift these negative thoughts to positive by using these mantras. I call them stop worry mantra. And you can tell yourself, I choose not to suffer before suffering. I choose not to suffer before the suffering. I will deal with the problem if it happens, when it happens, because you don't know when it's going to happen. And if it is going to happen, there's a chance it may not happen. Um, so you're going to deal with the problem if it happens, when it happens. And I choose to focus and act to get what I want rather than or more than what I don't want. So you choose to focus on and take the actions, protective actions to avoid the infection, to avoid the spread of infection, to get the results you want. You want the positive results, right? So you can act on getting those results and focus on it more than the results that you don't want. Okay. So if you, wherever you are, repeat after me. I choose not to suffer before suffering. I will deal with the problem if it happens and when it happens. Because there's a chance it may not happen or happen after a long time. And I choose to focus and act to get what I want more than what I don't want. Right. So that takes us to our third step is to respond with intention. Act and choose wisely. Keep the social distancing, Keep washing your hands. Try to protect yourself and protect your loved one, and focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. And we would get through this crisis. So repeating to help you remember: CPR, calm down and observe what is happening. Observe your thoughts and your action. Then P for processing, process what you are thinking, what is outside your control. Are you focusing more on things outside your control or inside? And if not, then shift them to focus on what is inside your control, and then act with intention. Do the things that you are able to do. So today is the first day of the spring, then spring brings hope. And I bring this message of hope for you. Stay happy and healthy. And if you'd like to learn more, join me on the Happy and Healthy Mind with Dr. Rosina, or sign up at drrosina.com. And if you don't want to do those two things, you can even text me at 38470, and then text word joyful, and we'll be able to connect you with different exercises that I can send you to help you further decrease your stress and control this worry and fear. And we can come out with hope and joy. So, wishing you health and happiness, Dr. Rosina.